Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World, and we're back for another interview in our South Wales derby build-up, a daily build-up as it is. We're flying out with different interviews, speaking to different players, and I'm very excited to be joined by Ex Wales and Cardiff City striker, Mr. Robert Earnshaw. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. I'm very, very good. Thank you.
Looking forward to the big game on the weekend, mate, isn't it?
Exactly. Big week, big build up. I can't wait for this one actually, because I think how this week, how it lands in the season, where the both teams are, is going to be an interesting one. I mean, it's always interesting anyway. It's a huge game anyway, but it'll be. I think there'll be a little bit of season defining situations going on within the game, I think, this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, like you say, it's interesting because depending on how the result goes, like obviously it's a tight game anyway, but if the result goes Cardiff's way, they kind of have got a little squeak at the playoffs. But also if Swansea lose, they're pushed very sort of towards relegation. So there's a lot riding on it.
Oh, huge. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing about this week, where Cardiff arrive with 4 wins out of 5. Seemingly flying. I know, deep down there's a little bit, they could do better, I think, but the results have been very, very good lately. And then Swansea arrived with only 2 wins in their last 5. So for them, they're more looking, hold on a minute, we're 5 points off the relegation, and it's super tight down there because literally almost the 10 teams could go down. I mean, Rotherham pretty much down. They're down, but the next probably 8 to 9 teams still within it. So Swansea are in that situation, and then Cardiff from nowhere. I mean, almost accidental, even like it's that feeling, almost accidental of hold on a minute, we've got a chance of the playoffs. We're only 5 points off the playoffs. So that's the weird thing. It's such a long season, but Cardiff arrive in a good position. Last week, the manner that they beat Ipswich, and Ipswich are a top team. I've watched them enough. I think everybody had Ipswich as, they only got promoted this last season, and they're supposed to be only fighting relegation this year. But that's not the level that Ipswich are. Ipswich are a top team in this division in the Championship. So beating them in the manner they beat them was excellent. The way they won it, it just builds your week up then to be flying for Derby Day.
Yeah, just on that, like I said in my preview of the Ipswich game, that I felt like bar Leicester, Ipswich have been the best team I've seen all season. I've watched them a few times myself, and I've just been really super impressed with them. They got one of the best young managers in the game as well, and I was. The last-minute winner, those two last-minute sort of equaliser and the winner. What's it like as a player and as a playing squad when you get a comeback like that in injury time? Does it lift you, like give you that extra lift and confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think where Cardiff have struggled this year, especially, I think is scoring goals. And that front creativity and almost at times knowing that there's 2 or 3 players that will bang in goals all season. So they've struggled in that area. But what it does in those last minutes, the manner, who you play, for example, last week, they're playing Ipswich, one of the top teams. They're 1-0 down the last few minutes. And you're thinking, well, if we can do it here, we can do it anytime. Does that make sense? So that's what it gives you. And on the pitch, you feel that, and you think, okay, Ipswich, they're throwing everything at it. They get a couple of goals, Cardiff, in the last few minutes. And then what comes from that is confidence. What comes from that is you then being like, whoa, okay, we can actually do it. That confidence, you build yourself, the team lifts, the dressing room, inside the dressing room, it lifts, because what comes from that is that confidence of we can do it against anybody. We can come back even if we're 1-0 down. So never mind 1-0 down. There's going to be games where it's tight, it's 0-0. You can actually go beat those teams. So that's what it lifts you. It's very different to beating Ipswich in the last few minutes like that in the manner to beating Rotherham, for example. It is slightly different because what you get from it is a different type of confidence from it. So it was a huge win. And I think then what it does for Cardiff is then they look back the last few and think, yeah, we won 4 out of 5 now. We're feeling confident. We're finding different ways to win. Okay, Derby Day, let's go. So you feel better in that moment then.
Yes, it's going to be, like I said, a fascinating watch because obviously you have the local media, particularly, but these days it's with social media and Sky and all these different TV stations and radio stations that cover football and sport so intensely. Like the South Wales Derby is a big game, so there is that extra spotlight on Cardiff and Swansea this week. How do the coaches, the playing staff, as a team, deal with that sort of additional scrutiny coming into the big games?
Well, the one that, inside the dressing room, the coaches, the players, the week will be all about how can we keep calm? How can we manage everything around, all the noise, all the build up, everybody talking about it, everybody asking you, what's going to happen? Are you going to do it? All of this build up of pressure, straight away the coaches will be like, okay, let's keep it calm. Let's play our game. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But as a player, you're always kind of battling with it because, for example, at home, everybody's going to be like, the build up to the game. If you're going out for dinner or something like that for a coffee, everybody's, do it this week. Come on, let's see, this is the game, So there's constantly everything that you do every time you bump into somebody or, even family members, they're all building up for that weekend. There's a lot of attention that goes into it, and you're trying to just stay focused to, okay, playing the game, get myself ready, prepared for this week, prepared for the game. What's the training? Remembering, there's all sorts of different tactics you have to remember as a player, building up to that game because it's going to be this type of game. I have to remember this, in my position, this is what I need to do. So all of these things you're trying to kind of stay focused on. So the coaches will always be like, let's keep it calm and, all of those things. But listen, at the end of the day, as a player, there's an extra build up for this one. There's an extra intensity, extra excitement for this. So sometimes it's nice to, stay calm, but also at the same time, is it really go and enjoy it, like really look forward to it, And I think that's the best thing because you also got to not get tense. And it's about, I was saying these type of games, it's about controlling your emotions as well as keeping that excitement, that excitement of, not freezing up in the moment and playing free and enjoying it and playing your football like it's, it's any game type of thing. So it is difficult, and that's the thing. The game is about managing because the noise is going to be twice as loud. The tension around the game, the intensity in every little tackle is going to be twice as much as most games. So in the moment, especially being a forward player, you want to kind of be calm and play a game and play free and enjoy it. So key to that is that the reason I say that, you look at last year's Derby away at Swansea, first few minutes, Robinson gets carried away, gets sent off in the first few minutes, throwing a ball in I think Ben Cabango's face. So there's that, and maybe at the moment he wasn't ready. And Robinson, he's a good guy, he's a good player, but he wasn't ready for that challenge to keep calm, to not throw the ball in somebody's face in the first few minutes and keep calm. So those are the examples of what can happen if you get too carried away, too hyped up, too trying to, prove something and the emotion around the game because it's intense. You also, got to do and remember the right things in the game. So it's about keeping that emotion in check. And then, like I always say in these type of games, who's going to be the hero? Who's going to be the hero and who's going to make the defining moment in the game? And it comes down to the difference. Who's composed in the moment? Who wants to be the hero? Yeah,
it's and it is. Like Cardiff have got a couple of different players, and I look at some of them, and some of them are quite, intense and passionate in the way they play. Like, the likes of Siopis, they're everywhere. They bring a lot of energy, but particularly early in the game. You got to watch just to not let that overspill. like you mentioned. So it's going to be. It is really. I know I've said it already. But it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. Just taking you back into your memory as a player, like obviously you played in some massive games for Wales, for Cardiff, and well, West Brom, Norwich, and a whole host of clubs. How did you prepare for those big games, particularly the South Wales derbies and big games for Cardiff, where you've got things like friends and family, and you're bumping into them in the shop and things? Like, how difficult is it for you as the local boy, sort of trying to focus on the football?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was about that. That's how I prepared. Is you stay. I almost didn't want to talk about the game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to talk too much about the game, because for me it was all about, okay, well, I need to arrive, be energetic, be ready, have lots of energy for the game, but also in the moment when I need to that control, the calmness, because the thing that people don't realize as a forward, you got to be the calmest player on the pitch. You got to block away the noise when you have a chance or creating a chance and to score goals. It's about that mental composure and understanding the moment, and picking which technique is the right technique and being composed in the moment. You can't be too hyped up because you miss your chance, but you can't be too low and not sharp enough that you also miss your chance to get tackled. So you've got to have the right amount of energy and composure to score goals and to do well. So that's how I like to build up, is not talk about the game so much, because it was like, for me, it was like, well, I know what I need to do. I need to, create chances, make the right movements, pick the right techniques, be sharp enough, be bright enough upstairs in my mind that when a chance comes, I know which techniques to, because as a forward, when you get a chance, the decision making is this quick. It's you get a chance, bang, and within that bang, you've already analyzed maybe 2 or 3 techniques, and then chose the technique, and then finished it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how quick that you've got to be. Is that it's chance, bang. That's there's not even a second to think, to break it down, choose which technique to finish. So it's that quick that you've got to be ready for it, and to get yourself right, you've got to be almost calm within that situation to make sure your mind is moving quick enough for the chance. So it's just about blocking everything out and being excited though as well. Going into the game thinking, yes, I want to do this for the fans. I want to do this for my family that are coming to watch the game, because they're excited to watch one of their family members do it actually on the pitch. So it's keeping that excitement, but also because you're on the pitch, noise is going on, and the intensity, you can feel the intensity even from defenders, coming at you every time they pressure you, or midfielders pressure you. There's an little bit of extra intensity. So you've got to have that little bit of excitement, but calm at the same time. So I used to just like to just go into it with almost like freedom and calmness going into the game, and then it's game time. Let's go.
Yeah, I think like you got me so excited now talking about this, like even more excited than I was before. Like, so just lastly, before I ask you for your prediction for the game, like I said to you just off air before we started, like as a Cardiff fan and someone who creates content for Cardiff and football content, if you can't get up and be excited about the build up to a South Wales derby, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. But as a player, like I kind of feel like it's the same sort of thing. Like if you can't be up for like a big derby coming up this week and you can't be excited about it, you've got to be, haven't you? You've got to be excited, and you've got to be. But I suppose it's containing that excitement and that passion and channeling.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you can't be up for one of these games, then keep yourself at home. Stay at home. Don't leave the boots at home. Don't drink the water. Don't get hydrated before the game. Stay at home because listen, and it's one of the biggest. I've played in other derbies, and when I've moved around, and even when I go to different countries, when I played in different countries in different leagues as well, I played in derbies, but one of these is just as big as any one of them, just as intense, just as the rivalry is just as deep, so, and if not more with most of them, to be honest with you. And it's one of those that it's such a special game. And these are the types of games with that extra intensity, extra build up, that it means more than just those 3 points on the day. It's more than that. Of course it is. And when you have these types of games, it's why you want to become a footballer. It's why you're thinking, oh, I want to play in big games. These are the big games. So if you can't get ready for these types of games and understand in those moments that, this is great. If you can't get ready for that, leave yourself at home. Somebody else will take it. Somebody else is ready. So, and for me, I always used to remember that. I used to remember that, and you have to remind yourself and say, these are the types of games you want to be playing in. This is great. This is it. Like when, the noise and the fans give you stick and all that. It's nice. That's why you're there on the pitch. You build up. That's the moment. You want to be not up there, and shouting down. You want to be down there, putting the shirt on and putting the boots on and being on the pitch and smelling the grass and playing against whatever defender. That's what you want to be at.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. You got me proper riled up now. So, what is your prediction for the game, mate? Before we let you go, how do you see it going, and what do you think the score will be?
Do you know what? I just think there's going to be a bit of tension, bit of nerves. I feel this one's going to be a draw. I feel like this one's going to be a draw. Yeah, I think probably a 1-1 draw. I'm looking at. I would like to say Cardiff, but I feel like it's just going to be a draw. What about you as a Cardiff fan? I know you've got your thoughts as well.
So being honest, I think if I take my sort of Cardiff hat off as best I can, I think Luke Williams has done a tremendous job in settling the ship a little bit for Swansea, because at one point before he came in, they looked like they were hurtling down towards sort of relegation, and he has steadied the ship. I know they lost to Bristol the other week. Obviously Cardiff did the double over Bristol, just to add that in there, but like but yeah, like they, that result against Bristol has kind of come amongst a pretty good run for them. So, and look, let's be honest, Cardiff are safe. They have got an outside chance of the playoffs, but it is an outside chance. And I think Swansea really need to not lose. And I think that'll probably have an effect on the game. And that, I agree with you, it's going to be very, very tight. My heart says if Cardiff can keep it quite tight for the sort of first 15 minutes, then I think the additional bit of quality in certain places on the pitch might shine through. But that doesn't always happen in the derby. Like sometimes you get cancelled out by tension and a bit of this and a bit of that. So my heart sort of says Cardiff 2-1, but I got a feeling like maybe a draw. I got to be honest, it's the most confident I've been about a derby. I'm going to so regret saying this, because once it's on the internet, it's kind of there, isn't it? But it's the most confident I felt about a derby for a good few seasons. Like, I don't think Cardiff will lose.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that first initial 20 minutes go. Because I think if Swansea come out and get at Cardiff early, and it gets the crowd up, and that can have a massive knock-on effect on the rest of the game. Whereas if they allow Cardiff to quieten the crowd down a little bit in that first 15, 20 minutes, that's when I think Cardiff can really settle in. And our away form has been very, very good this year, all season. We've beaten some big teams. So, yeah, that's about where I stand, mate, I think.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was pretty unbiased, I got to be fair.
Yeah, very, very well put. No, listen, it should be a good game. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to see how it goes, actually, because, like I said, this is a game where, with only, nine games to go, whatever, 10 for some, it's a game that the league is so tight. Cardiff are starting to now think, okay, we are safe, but there's an outside chance of playoffs. Does that lift you? Swansea are thinking, this is tough. We're amongst 8 or 9, 10 teams that are pushing and really consistent. So it's that's why sometimes those pressures, come into the game, and then okay, how do you handle them? How do you handle them as a player or as a team? So but I think Cardiff definitely go into this most confident for sure after picking up a few wins, the last few, and then also going into the game almost this freedom of, well, we're not going to get relegated, but there is an outside chance. So it was almost that freedom. So, and sometimes that's the best way to play, with that freedom. That's the best feeling to go into a game. So they can be confident, but I still think a draw just because of the different things. And both teams, I think they haven't got lots of goals just at will. Both teams haven't got lots of goals where they can score any time, and thinking, well, we've got 2 or 3 players that for sure one of them is going to score. I don't think they're that confident yet. So I'm going to go for that 1-1 draw.
Excellent. Maybe the stage is set for a Ruben Colwell injury time winner. Who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah, you and me both. Robert, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I got to say, I was pretty excited about the weekend anyway, and just chatting to you has made me just taking it up another level. So my wife will be thrilled. She'll be thrilled.
Good
now.
man.
Come off. No, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And
no worries.
I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
All right. Take care, mate. Thank you very much.